Unlike the previous Star Trek Continuous episodes, this one takes place exclusively in the Mirror Universe, which is a fan favorite. It picks up where Mirror left off and shows what happened when Prime Kirk left and Mirror Kirk came back.
Going to the Mirror Universe and revisiting it and continuing literally shot for shot.
This episode, for me, is one of my personal favorites, and it's a fan favorite. So mind-blowing what they're doing with the story and the characters and the development.
The idea of an alternate reality was not really made popular in science fiction until this episode happened. People have no idea how iconic that episode is and how much it influenced science fiction and popular culture over the last 50 years. Even little things like a guy with a goatee is the evil version of yourself. That was established by Jerome Bixby in the original Mirror episode.
For this episode in particular, transitioning into having a goatee and a mustache is tricky. It's several $100s to find it, and it's custom cut, it's hand woven, and so it's very much like everything that is involved in this production. There's a lot of attention to detail.
We didn't want to light this just like any original series episode. We wanted to light it like Mirror. Mirror, the episode, was lit differently than a lot of the other episodes. It was lit darker. It was lit with slashes of light. You've got the barn doors pretty closed off. Yeah, it's just a stripe down, you guys. And a lot of these scenes were shooting in the same sets, the same areas that characters were in Mirror. We needed to match that. So we screen capped Mirror, and we put it on our phones and we looked through it, and as we're shooting, we're referencing the original episode.
She was less in frame on our tape than she is here.
Making sure that everything is exactly how it was and exactly lit how it was in the original episode.
Have him turn more toward me and open me up more here.
It's tricky. I've kind of started playing Spock, making him my own, but then when you revisit something like this, you kind of have to also keep in mind how Nimoy did it, really. But it's a total change of how Spock is, because now there's an edge, there's a coldness and almost an evil to it.
For Star Trek fans, that's the part that's interesting about this sort of part of the genre, part of the Mirror episode, is that you get to see these characters you know and love behaving in ways that you would never see them behaving.
Well, the Mirror Scotty differs in a way where he's just a little bit more gruff, a little bit more mean.
In the Mirror universe, Yeoman Smith is now a lieutenant. So it's an interesting transition from this eager wanting to please Lieutenant Smith to being verbally abused by Kirk and not being able to please him. It's a fun transition.
Mirror universe McCoy, it's kind of Mengele. It's kind of twisted and sadistic, which is fun because he's not. McCoy isn't at all, so it's fun to just sort of let that out, let that be part of his character.
Kirk Prime, before he leaves, really puts Spock on the spot and says, hey, you know this is coming. Are you just going to sit by and let it happen, or are you going to take action? It is a very kinetic episode where Spock is the aggressor, really.
One of the reasons that people respond to the Mirror universe so much is because there is a fear that our world is closer to that and could become closer to that than we would like to admit.
Even people who haven't seen much of the original series have seen this episode.
It was an episode that ended leaving the audience wondering what happened next in the Mirror universe. It's a story that every kid who grew up watching Star Trek pictured in their heads. And the wonderful thing about this is that we're telling that story. Want to see more Star Trek Continues? Subscribe to the Wired channel.